Sales is actually service. If you cannot communicate value, you cannot scale. Whatever you're serving, there must be a value to it. If not, nobody's going to buy it. So it's important as an entrepreneur to discipline yourself when the money starts coming in. Getting money to start off a business is very, very important. Welcome back. We're talking about the last part of our journey on entrepreneurship. And this is a very interesting one. Let's talk about money. Money. Very interesting. Money makes the world go round. Or is it love that makes the world go round? But there's a saying that money answereth all things. It is important to have money, but the love of money is the root of all evil. So let's balance it as entrepreneurs. And how do we even start? As an entrepreneur, particularly a woman, and let me address it from the side of a woman, money is emotional. You don't have as much access to money as your male counterparts for most women. But it should not be a hindrance to your starting off as an entrepreneur and being a good business woman. So how do you go about funding capital for the business that you want to start? There are many models. And like I tell many young people, you're in an age where things may be easier to even start up with small businesses. You can access soft loans, you can get grants, and I believe quite a few of them are available right now for young people. So you have to be abreast with what is happening. Make sure you know what is happening where there's information about money being loaned to people starting up businesses, small businesses with very little interest. That's where you want to be. But of course, before you can get funding, you must have a thorough business plan. This money you're going to borrow, how are you going to manage it? What are you going to do with it? Is it a viable business? What are the returns like? And what is your payment back plan? These are very important things you need to navigate before anyone can consider you for a loan. But it is important for you to have some capital to start your business. But it doesn't have to be huge capital to start a business, because I believe you can always grow a business. And apart from the conventional ways of borrowing money from banks and so on, you can also get soft loans even from family, from friends, and even cooperatives. But of course, it means that you yourself have made sure that you are credible enough for anybody to want to lend you money to start your business. When you borrow money, one of the things that must be in your mind is that this is a loan and I must work hard to repay it and make a profit. It's a great responsibility. And that should be behind the mind of every entrepreneur. You are thinking of building sustainably. It's not a temporary. You've started on a journey. There's no going back. And so it reminds me of when I started Amy and Associates. I didn't have that much money. That's just the truth. I was just coming out of a partnership with some colleagues, and I didn't have money to set up, rent an office, and begin to do big things. But I had invested in relationship. When you invest in relationship, it pays back when you need it. And I was able to get one of my siblings to loan me some money. And with that money, I rented an office, because you must have a brand. They must know you, where you are. If not, you haven't started any business. So I made sure I was deliberate about it, got a good office, rented the office, got one or two people to start off work with me, and we started the business. So getting money to start off a business is very, very important. And when you start the business, like I said, you must always have it in the back of your mind that whatever I'm earning, whatever revenue is coming from this business, I must put something aside to repay my loan, to pay my staff, and to grow the business. And that takes me to the next thing. It's about sales. And let me emphasize here that sales is actually service. If you cannot communicate value, you cannot scale. Whatever you're serving, there must be a value to it. If not, nobody's going to buy it. So if you just have revenue and you're not able to manage it, at the end of the day, it's like you never had any revenue. You must also ensure that the profits that you make is sustained and your cash flow is your survival base. There must always be something coming in. And this reminds me of the time, like I said, I started my practice. In one direction, I wasn't making money, so I looked in another direction without closing shop for the first direction. So look at other avenues where money can come in, fund the main business so that you are still in business. So it's important as an entrepreneur to discipline yourself when the money starts coming in. In the early days when I started practice and I got some commissions that brought in a lot of money, I made sure I disciplined myself. I wasn't going to be like many of my colleagues in those days that when they get their fees, the first thing they think about is changing their cars and doing some very expensive ventures all on themselves. No, you must be disciplined. The money that is coming in when you're growing your business must be put back into your business to grow it. And of course, as you're growing your business, you're growing not just the structure, you're growing the people working with you. If you don't pay your staff well, you will not have people working with you. If you don't treat your staff well, then at the end of the day, your business may even collapse. So the money coming in must not be seen as something to spend on your frivolities. It is something on your business to pay back the loan and to invest in building back the business. That's how it goes. So be disciplined, financially disciplined, and ensure that you're putting your money, plowing it back into making your business to prosper and to flourish. You need to also pay yourself. Some of us, well, maybe during the early part of our practice, we suffered a bit in that. I was so particular about ensuring that my staff got paid. It was an era when things started getting low in the architecture business, and you'd have lots of architects not paying their staff for months. I made up my mind, no. The Bible says a laborer is worthy of his wage. If it meant I wasn't going to get paid, my staff must get paid. But what I did was I made sure that whatever I was paying was comfortable for me. I wasn't doing anything beyond my means. And this is how you can grow a sustainable business. Reinvest strategically and build reserves. You must always build reserves. They say there are rainy days. I can assure you there are many rainy days when the jobs aren't coming in, but you still must pay your bills. So build reserves so that your business can continue to move. If your business cannot survive without you rescuing it emotionally every month, then it's not structured. It's not. So we must be very, very intentional about ensuring this. Now let's talk about people who are multi-talented. I think the young people call it multi-potentialites. Yes. And it's like there's so many things you want to do at the same time. Now, here's my counsel. Pick one. Do it well. Whatever your hand finds to do, what do? Do it with all your mind. Not do this halfway. Do another one. No. Pick one. Do it well. Establish it. Don't be in a rush. Many times it takes time to grow business. Don't be in a rush. Establish it firmly. Build systems. Raise leaders. Even amongst your people, amongst the people that are working with you. Raise leaders. You can't do it all by yourself and you can't do it all alone. In fact, what gave me so much joy was the time when I became the president of the Nigerian Institute of Architects. For 2 years, I was practically out of my office. I wasn't here. I wasn't doing my business. But I built a structure. I built men and women that were competent. So whether I was in the office or not, the business was moving. My money was coming in. The projects were coming in. I didn't have to be there. That is because I had built a structure. So it's important for you. Build a structure. When you build a structure, then later when you need to do other things, you're sure that your business will not collapse. Raise leaders, and then you can move on. When you build people, you multiply impact. And that's very important for us to know. And this is what my own entrepreneurship journey is about. It's also about raising people so that they can also, have impact in their own lives. And this way I am multiplying impact. And so I hope with these few things we said about money, that we've been able to touch the key areas that are troubling you. How do I raise funds? How do I even get revenue in? And then how do I manage funds? Don't let the money get into your head. Just remember that whatever is coming in is to grow that business. It will come to a point the business has grown. Then it's time to diversify, because you must keep multiplying. And that's the true mark of a true entrepreneur. In our next segment, we're going to be answering your questions from social media about how you can start without capital. How do you balance family and business? When do I quit? How do I price confidently? If this series is helping you think differently, subscribe, turn on your notifications, and share widely. And I'll see you next time on the questions and answers segment. Bye for now.